Hi, welcome to Chapter 3. How does gender affect the monster? If you haven't watched the introductory video yet, I encourage you to do so. Now, this chapter prompt is very much like the chapter prompts that we've had already on Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. But it is worthwhile to walk through again what the prompt actually is asking. So it says, write an essay in which you respond to one of the following questions taken from Monsters Chapter 3. And here you have a list of the authors and the questions. Roughly about a dozen different questions that you can choose from. Hopefully there is something there that excites you, something that you can sink your teeth into. Now the paper is due by Monday, November the 9th, 11:59 p.m. That is nearly a month away. That is a lot of time to work on an essay. Please, however, do not procrastinate. I'm always a little mystified when you get this much time, how many people are jammed at the end. And that is procrastination. I know that we've talked about procrastination. You've talked about procrastination sometimes in your discussion thread most recently. Procrastination is what's called the silent killer. Be sure to follow the out-of-class essay guidelines for all matters of form and style, as we have all semester. If you are getting dinged on this, right, in my grading, go back and look through the essay guidelines again. They're to be found in the introduction module. There is both a hard copy, well, you can make a hard copy, you can print out a hard copy for yourself, and there is a video explanation that accompanies the guideline sheet as well. Be sure to include a word count at the end of your essay. Please remember the word count is only for the essay itself. It does not include the works cited page, which is one of the reasons why the word count shows up at the end of the essay itself, not after the works cited page. Okay, works cited pages have a way of really boosting the word count beyond what is actually written. Now remember, you must meet minimum requirements, including word count, sources, and subject matter. No late essays will be accepted without a signed doctor's note or other verified legitimate excuse. Okay, so remember, what is not a legitimate excuse? Family vacations are not legitimate excuses. Work conflicts are not legitimate excuses. Technical issues are not legitimate excuses. Please remember, you have almost a full month to get this done. Remember what I just said about procrastination. So if you come in and say, oh, my paper was late because I had a problem with my computer, I can't verify that. I have to take your word for it. And at this point in my career, trust me, I'm not listening to that. Okay? Don't be late. Now, just as we have done in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, we break this down into some work, some smaller pieces of work. The first is the thesis proposal. Submit a thesis statement and topic outline to Canvas by Friday, October the 23rd. So that's about 10 days away. Please have MLA citation entries for 3 of your sources, none of which are from the textbook. Okay, so this means that you are doing library research. And when I say library research, it doesn't actually have to be our library. It just means what's outside of our textbook. None of which are from the textbook. Okay, so don't list the article from the textbook as one of your 3 on the thesis proposals. Okay? A participation grade will be assigned for this. The class will be divided into groups of 3 or 4 on Canvas, right? I'll remake groups. Now, sometimes they may have 5, it kind of depends, but my goal is to have 3 or 4 in each group. Submit your rough draft to your Canvas workgroup and to me by Wednesday, November the 4th. So you have time enough after the thesis to make additional changes, do additional research to fully flesh out your essay and have as good a rough draft as you can possibly make by Wednesday, November the 4th, midnight. You must submit to both, meaning to me and to your group, to get full participation points. One other comment I do want to make, every now and then I get a submission that is incompatible with Canvas. You should know by now if what you're working on is compatible or incompatible, right? So for instance, the iPhone Pages is not going to work. And frankly, I can't understand why anybody would be writing an entire essay on an iPhone, but that's neither here nor there. Text, you can do plain text, enriched text, or PDF if you're having a problem. Now, I don't know when you submit it if you get notified that it is a incompatible format or not. Unfortunately, one of the things that happens as an instructor is I tend to be blind sometimes to the input that students are getting. Then submit completed peer edit guideline sheets to your Canvas work group and to me by Friday, November the 6th. Again, 11:59 p.m. So this is just like we've done. You do peer edit sheets for your peers in the new work group that I'll set up for Chapter 3. You read their drafts, you fill out the peer guidelines, you post it for them back into the peer group so that they can look and see what you said. You can look and see what they said to you about your paper. And I get to look at it where I grade. Okay, so that's why I need it twice. Again, submit both to get full participation points. Okay. Minimum requirements. Now the essay length has not changed. It's 1,000 to 1,400 words. That little squiggly line again means about. I'm finding that for the best essays, they tend to push to this limit, right? Mostly because they're more fully developed. A 1,000-word essay is totally acceptable, of course, but just consider whether you have fully developed all the issues that are there for your thesis. Again, we want strong essay structure, including introduction, concession, rebuttal, main body, and conclusion. This paper, we want 8 total sources. Now, at least 6, now that's a minimum. You can always have more than 8, okay? But at least 6 of those 8 must originate in print or have print analogs, not including our textbook. So this means books, magazines, newspapers, journals, government reports, other sources that originate in print. This does not mean you cannot have websites. You can have websites in addition to these 6, of course. Movies in addition to these 6. Now, 3 of those sources must be from peer-reviewed journal articles or excerpts from university press books. This means you have at least 3 hardcore academic scholarly pieces of work. If you're not sure how to do that, again, I advise you to go back and look at the Triangle of Research. There's a 3-part video series that I have. You want to make sure that you look at those. MLA format and presentation and documentation, including correct works cited list. You know, there's a lot of ways to get help with MLA. There's no excuse, right? There's no excuse. I have a format sheet for you. We have links to Purdue OWL. We have links to other sources that are good explanations. We have, in our library, if you use the Mesa College library system, there are citation helpers that help you to cite properly. So when I get something that looks like, well, inferior work, like you have no clue what you're doing, I don't have a lot of sympathy. And for people who are saying, I don't understand MLA, the simple answer is work at it. Work at it. Watch my videos again that walk you through the MLA format sheet. Watch the videos that are available also on web links, right, that also explain MLA. You have plenty of educational resources that explain MLA. There's no excuse at this point in the semester. Now, that doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. I'm not expecting perfection. But I don't want it to look like spaghetti that's spilled on the floor. That's unacceptable. So, how does gender affect the monster? On your own, please start reading these essays, Fuller, Homer, Kingshill, Ovid, Hollinger, Clover, Halberstam. I said essays. Actually, Homer and Ovid are both poems. They're telling stories. The others are either essays or excerpts from books. Obviously, the discussion threads will help get you started on that. The discussion thread questions, by the way, just for those of you who are still confused, the discussion thread questions are different from these questions, okay? They're never the same. I never use a discussion thread question as an essay question. It's a different question, okay? And as usual, I encourage you to come visit me during my office hour, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11. If you have any confusion or questions, or you just want to hammer out some ideas of your own. Take care.